Sunday. Side by side at the microphone, from the green light to the speed trap, Chris Switzer and Ray Carino calls them as they sees them, and you better believe them. Here! Relevant news, biased opinions, and outright bullshit regarding every aspect of automotive culture. Gasp at mechanical trickery never before revealed over FCC-regulated airwaves. Thrill to the explosive tension as Chris and Ray cuss each other down the track and barrel roll across the finish line, laughing at certain disaster as they shake hands for the devil. All that and much more this Sunday at high noon on the Motormouth Radio Hour. Call in and speak live with the Wizards of Speed and live feed, Chris Switzer and Ray Garino. Bring the whole family. Kids under 12 get in free. Every Sunday at noon on WHPC. Take the Long Island Expressway to the Meadowbrook Parkway and look for the sign saying no parking on the expressway and no express service on the parkway. Go right on Highway 24 to Garden City. $2 all-day parking includes pit pass. Sunday!
Los Angeles weather.
Low overcast tonight, low around 58, mostly sunny tomorrow with a high near 68. No smog, beaches now 62, Valley 66, downtown 65, Orange County 66.
Yeah, almost like the weather we have here. Kind of like, a little bit, sort of, but really not too much. So we're kicking a little different on the East Coast, but you've tuned in to the show that you know and love and sometimes hate to admit. Motormouth Radio, Long Island's only automotive talk show, with your hosts, of course, Ray Guarino and Chris Switzer. Chris, how are you today?
Alrighty, the Lenin to my McCarthy, right there. My longtime radio colleague and automotive partner in crime. I'm doing very well, my brother. How are you?
Very good, very good. It's been a quite an interesting week. They're flying by. Today starts fall.
Yes.
I wasn't ready for that. I'm still waiting.
We all fell.
Still ready for summer, but
yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think I had the Chrysler. I think I had the top down on the Chrysler all summer. I'd say maybe about 3 times. That was about it. and I only had the car out like 4 times. Just happened.
Well, conversely to that, I will say, I have a lot of cars, and they have to get inspections, and they get all sorts of
detections and rejections, and yes,
and I keep track of the mileages, and I see, like, a lot of times, wow, I only drove it 1,000 miles last year, 500 miles. This year, I've driven the Fiat a lot more than in the past. I mean, I'm driving it again today. I've been using it just like a regular car.
And you should.
That's the car I take out and drive.
Yeah, that is a fantastic regular car to have. I mean, in decent weather. If I'm sure if there's a inch of rainwater on the asphalt, it probably gets a little squirrely. But I mean, it's for weather like this, for a day like today, that you can't beat a car like that.
I'll tell you the truth, it isn't bad in the weather. It's a smaller car, but it does have kind of a low center of gravity, and it really holds the road well.
Oh, good.
I mean, I choose not to go out with it in the rain because of all the other cars on the road and all, and it's I don't want to chance it.
Just a question: have you ever had it out in the snow?
No, I have not had that car in the snow. Because
never got caught in the snow, huh?
No, and the reason is I park it in a storage garage that's off-site. It's a town away, and that's where it sleeps for the winter. So there'd be no reason to go. I mean, I have taken it out in the winter if the weather was nice. I have done that in the past, way in the past, but I've never gotten stuck in the snow. No,
I got caught in a snow squall one time in the TR6. And it was a winter day. Obviously, it was a gray winter day, and I said, I'm going to take this thing out, and I did. And I was only about 10 minutes from the house, but it was one of those snow squalls that started to stick instantly. And I'll tell you, driving that car in snow is something I do not recommend.
I don't know. I think with my car being rear-wheel drive like yours was, and having a manual transmission like yours did, I don't think I'd have too much trouble. I mean, as long as you get tires that'll actually move some snow and not just pack and slide. That's really the thing.
Which were pretty much the tires that I had on that car.
Yeah, there you go. But no, you wouldn't want to have to put yourself through that in a car like that.
No, I never understood how people at the time when these cars were new, people actually bought them and used them as regular cars. And I'm like, this thing is the TR6 is just so backward. Even then, when it was built in 1974, like mine was, it was a buckboard on wheels. It still had wood parts in the engine. I mean, it was one of those things that I just couldn't understand how anybody could use that car on a regular basis in weather up here, like let's say in the Northeast.
But
Maybe I can understand in San Diego, but not
they
here.
were touted as the best thing since sliced bread. People put the, my favorite accessory to hate, and I still absolutely detest it. They put a luggage rack on the trunk, and then it's like strap skis to it across the roof, and they go up the mountain skiing with the damn thing.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
those are the days before dedicated snow tires. So
very true.
very crazy.
You had chains. Yeah, I was never a fan of the luggage rack. There were two things I especially was not a fan of on these cars. One of them was a roll bar. I never liked the roll bar. The only car I can honestly say, and hold your cards and letters, gang, and keep the brickbats away. The only car I think looks good in a roll bar is a 67 or 68 Shelby Mustang. But
Okay.
the only one I think. Everything else, yank them.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. And the second thing is that luggage rack. When you see a luggage rack on a AAR CUDA, I'm like, get that thing off.
Well, I had one. That's why the deck lid on my car is a different color, because when I got my car, it had a luggage rack on it.
Oh boy.
And I said, that's coming off. And the guy didn't even do it right. Whoever did it, I mean, knowing where my car came from, they probably had it done at the dealership, because this guy that had the car was not mechanical. And the big problem was they mounted it without stainless steel screws. So
Oh,
the screws and the deck lid rusted where they went through.
right.
Great idea, guys. So that came off. I found a deck lid for my buddy Mark out east, and my friend TJ was playing with some new flip flop paint, and he used it as a test bed. So that's why
Right.
deck lid was a different color. But I tell you one thing, I do have a roll bar for my car, and I haven't installed it yet, but I am thinking about putting it in. And
Oh, how
not
come?
not because I'm afraid of rolling the car.
Yeah.
Far from it. I mean, that car is so sure-footed. I mean, I've had it like, you know, I don't know. I think I've lifted a wheel off the ground at times, and
I think I've seen you
yeah,
do that.
I can corner it that hard. But there's two good reasons. If I take it out of the garage and put it in the car, I don't have to move it or get rid of it, because now it has another home. And secondly, to mount my third brake light. Now, I'm
Ah,
very aware in that car of where the lights are and where they are in relation to an F350 or an
yeah,
F.
they're incredibly low to the ground in
If I'm in
comparison.
front of a truck, they can't even see probably me in the driver's seat, let alone the back of the car.
Right.
Years ago, what I did is I took an LED strip and mounted it on that panel between the top and the deck lid,
I remember that. Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
and I actually angled it up.
Good
So
idea.
that, yes, because the LED is brightest when you look at it, directly in
Sure.
the same line. So I angled it up because most people will be looking down, and I haven't had any issues. No one's rear-ended me yet, luckily. But I figured,
Yes.
if I put the roll bar in the car, I've seen this. What you can do is you cut a window out of the top of the roll bar, and then you make like a cup out of metal, and you weld and you recess the light in and run the
Right.
wires through it.
I,
So
I
now,
like the hand gestures. They were very cool. I'm hoping
yes.
everybody can see that
So
when they're watching us on YouTube.
now you have a third brake light that's high. It's gonna be
Yes.
higher than my head, which means more people will see it. So
Very good. No, it makes sense. For that, I can understand. For safety concerns, it makes sense. But I've never understood this, why I think this way. And I don't know if anyone else thinks this way. But when you're looking at a true convertible vehicle, in my world, nothing should be sticking up from the inside of the car. It should be a flat piece. Like if you look at my convertible with the top down, you don't see anything sticking up but the steering wheel. Like everything else sits within the inside of the car, including the top. So if you look at, let's say, a brand new BMW convertible or a brand new Audi convertible, they have four huge headrests
yeah,
sticking up. They look like you're always driving with four people in the car.
yeah.
That's what with big heads and no hair. That's
Again,
what it always looks like. So
well,
I find that aesthetically harsh.
yeah, well, that's for safety, of course.
Of course. No, I get it. I get it. I'm understanding. But you know what? I think the same way you do. I'm a big boy. I'm
All
not
right.
going to roll my car.
let's roll over to the phones and say hi, caller. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
How's it going, guys? A long time no hear.
Yeah, Vic, man, what have you been doing?
What's up, Vic?
What are you up to today?
Oh, I just went to the Baldwin Fire Department car show for a little while to support the racing team. So.
Very good. Yeah, my buddy, I have a friend over there that has a Falcon gasser who's
I
probably,
saw it. Yep.
Yeah, great
Yep.
guy. Yeah, good guy.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yep. Question. This one's for Joe if he's listening. All right. So it's 14 Caravan. I'm at the light. I hit the gas. The thing stays in low. Right. It's the key switch. I sent it to the tranny shop. They said no. It's the key switch.
The key switch.
Okay. Yeah. First off, the key switch is about 4x4 box.
Yeah.
There are 5 of them on the East Coast.
Oh boy.
Great.
I called. Yeah, guy upstate has got one. Yeah, we don't do anything with credit cards and we don't ship.
Oh, great.
Okay, you guys are morons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we got one in Jersey. Yeah, we're holding it for a guy. How long? Indefinitely. Okay, you're full of it. I said you're waiting for a warranty to come in so you can charge list plus.
Yeah.
I call Merrick back. Yeah, there's one in Georgia and there's a guy in I think North Carolina. I call the guy up because I got 2 of them. I said, wow, will you ship? Of course. Give me a credit card number. Okay. Tax? No, it's out of state. It's business. Oh, business to business? Yeah, $380.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
So, guy installs it for me. Now I have to get a guy to flash it again.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
Now my key fob doesn't work. Right? Now here's the rubber. You start the car, and for at least a minute, the heat or the AC won't go on.
Oh boy.
What did he do wrong when he flashed it?
Oh, gosh.
Right.
Talk about a can of worms.
Now you
Holy
need a
smokes.
diagnostician to find out what else went wrong, man.
Yeah.
So what? Listen, my question is, when are you going to start driving a 53 panel truck and get rid of that thing? You know?
Well, I'm selling the 46. I've had that a day too long. I don't want to do it. But my 55 2-door wagon is going in the body shop in about a month or two.
Very good, very good.
Because I got new fenders, new hood, new doors, new quarter panels, and new deck lid for that. Plus new floor.
Very nice.
Wow.
Very
Wow.
nice.
You're building a whole new car.
Yeah, I got a brand new big block for it and a brand new 200 floor from Freddie Brown.
Oh wow, wow.
So,
Yeah.
so I'm trading my 71 Catalina convertible for it.
Okay. All right.
Because I haven't used that car since my son graduated, and he's 31.
Right. Oh, that's very good. Excellent. Very good.
That's got a brand new top end and a brand new tranny with 1 mile on it.
Yeah.
So it needs a battery and tires.
Right.
And rock on down the road.
Yeah.
So hope next year I'll be on the road.
Excellent. I hope so. Very good. Very good.
Very cool.
Yeah. Except for that, everything's everything. Living the dream.
All right. Well, you know what? I do talk with Joe during the week, so I'll run this by him and I'll see what he's got to say.
And if that doesn't work, I would drag this thing right back to the dealership and say, reflash it again. What in the world you guys did to? What did you do to it? Crying out loud. It's the Mikey T last thing you touched theory. Right. If you ask me personally, that's what he used to say. Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe I'll make the insurance company my partner.
There you go. That's one way of doing it. Yeah.
It's always, that's always the efficient way.
Very good.
Yeah. All right, guys. Be good.
All right, Vic.
Safe, okay?
Thanks.
Thanks, Vic. Always a pleasure hearing from Vic.
Be like Vic. Dial 516-572-7440. Get a hold of us. Check us out on social media. Of course,
that's right.
Motormouth Radio on Facebook and on X, and it's _Motormouth Radio on Instagram, and _Motormouth Radio on YouTube, which, by the way, last show with Marty Shore, immediately the videos, like by the afternoon, there were like 30 views on that video. Now
nice.
119. He's in he's in the Oil Geek neighborhood now. Because with the
as far as hits and shares are concerned on our videos, yes.
Except surprisingly enough,
more
views than other videos, but no comments. Well, obviously loved it because they watched it, but nobody commented. So
Well, I'll tell you, if you want to comment, you can actually use your thumbs, do something with your thumbs instead of picking your nose. You can call us or text us at 203-670-4127, just like Joe the Undertaker just did. And he said he says he had a heater delay issue, had a car that spooked him, wouldn't come on until the engine was at running temperature. The heater
wow.
wouldn't come on. So
well,
there you go.
I'll
Be
tell you
so
something.
so be like Joe the Undertaker and text us. Do something with your thumbs.
Yeah.
203-670-4127, and I will hold you in my hot little hand right
I have two stories for you in that regard, and
Oh,
Joe
boy.
is one of them. Had a couple of sightings this week, which is always interesting.
now. Aliens?
Yeah, if you can consider me an alien. Yeah.
Motormouth t-shirt set.
No. Me sightings.
Oh,
So
you said
there I
oh,
was.
what? Someone's looking for you?
There I was yesterday afternoon, spending a leisurely afternoon with some friends at a gun
Yes.
show.
Okay.
Walking through the aisles and looking at the stuff, and then
And
of
you were
course,
shooting off your mouth.
no, I was actually not talking at all when I heard "Hi, Ray,"
Yeah.
and I turned and said, "Hi."
Hi, do I know you?
Fellow stuck his hand out, so I shook his hand, and he says, "Yeah, this is Joe. I'm Joe." I'm like, "From where?" He goes, "Joe Undertaker."
Ah, you
It's
bet.
like,
Wow.
oh, I wasn't wearing anything with my name on it. He must.
And you didn't recognize the voice.
Well, I did. I recognized his as he spoke, sure.
Right.
But the problem was, and I don't know if he had the same problem. Joe has been a caller to this show before I've been a caller to this
He
show.
has, I can honestly
He's an
probably
OG.
lay claim to the fact that he is probably the longest caller and appreciator of this program.
Right.
Yes,
So
I
since
can
I
also
was
say
a
that.
listener and then became a participant and co-host, that's 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
We've spoke to Joe many, many times, and this is what happens. I tell people this is all the time. This is the radio thing. You listen to DJs and you got your headphones on at night and you don't see them because it's not a visual media, but
Right.
sometimes you get an image in your head of what the DJs look like.
Sure. And it's never the image that the physical image that they portray. It's never.
Exactly, because I had an image in my head of what Joe looked like.
Right.
And he doesn't look anything like what my mind's eye told me. I would have never, like if there was a lineup and they said, which one's Joe Undertaker? I wouldn't have picked him.
Wouldn't have picked them.
So that was so cool. So I get to spend a few minutes and talk to him. And
That's great.
There was a little camaraderie at the gun show.
Nice. I love it.
Pass the ammunition and so and also and me, like, I'm not a child of I'm not like my daughters. I'm not a child of the new age. I should have thought of like, hey Joe, hang on, let me get a selfie.
Right.
I thought of it later. I thought of it when we were in a diner eating. I'm like, oh damn, I should
Yeah.
have a selfie. Could have posted it. So there we are, last Monday night. We're at TGI Fridays, right here up in Westbury. Kevin and I are there, and we're walking the lot and we're looking at cars. So what do I walk up on? But this whale of of course, gotta be a Chrysler. This whale of a C-body, hood's open, big block engine, little rough and tumble, not painted. It's showing its scars and all. And the fellow's talking to somebody, and he's doing his thing and talking whatever. And I said, wow, it's good to see a C-body. He goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, Ray. He goes, how about that? And I'm like, huh? He goes, yeah, and I got Chris's favorite carburetor on this car too. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, I got the Holley 600 on here, and I love it. And I said, who are you? So I said, take the air cleaner off. He took the air cleaner off. I took a picture of it. I said, he goes, this thing has been bulletproof for all the years I've had it. I love it. I'll put it on every car. I said, oh my God, you're coming home with me. I said, this is phenomenal. So
I love it. This is great.
Of course, this is twice in 1 week.
That's hysterical.
Of course, the fellow's name is, I had to ask him, who are you?
Right.
I didn't recognize his voice. He goes, my name is Gary. I'm like, Gary? I said, well, obviously, you listen to the show. You know enough. And again, I wasn't wearing Motormouth Radio paraphernalia, nothing. He says, no, I listen to the show. I know all about you guys. I know what you're doing and blah, 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 this, and that, and the other thing. And I said, and he says, I've had sea bodies forever. I love him. He's showing me a picture of another one that he has. I said, look, why don't you buy Chris's? This way I'll have a convertible. I said, you could
Yeah.
provenance to your collection. He's like, I don't want that piece of crap. I don't want that. I gotta get a good one. So, we talked for a while, and
I love it.
So I said, all right, Gary. I said, so now here we are. Now we're in the arena. The stage is set. I said, so now I got to ask you what I ask everybody else who I meet in this way.
Right.
How come you haven't called? I
Yeah.
said, obviously you're into cars. And he's like, no, he goes, I'm kind of a shy guy. And I'm like, oh, really? I said, but I bet you'll engage people in this parking lot and talk about your car for hours.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
we're doing now. I said, but you won't call the radio show. And he's like, nah, you don't want to do that. I'm like, okay. I said, you fall into like the 98th percentile of, people who are interested and they're fans, and they fit right in to
Sure.
but they won't call. I said, dude, you're killing me here. You're killing me. So I said, by the way, I said, since you know so much about the show, I said, if you look over there, like the other aisle and all the way down, I said, you see that gold roof? I said, that's my car if you want to go check it out. He goes, I know, the one with the toe tabs. I saw it already. I was like, okay. All right.
I love it. You're a celebrity, for crying out loud. After 20 years, I think that's great.
Gotta come to the cruise nights on Long Island, Chris. You'll have a ball.
No, it's true. No, I like being anonymous in the cruise nights up here in Connecticut. No one knows who I can walk around with the Motormouth Radio shirt on, and people go, "What's that?"
I mean, Gary, that was Monday, so that's like a full week ago, and I had to write that down and remember to talk about it, and that was cool in itself.
Oh yeah.
But then to turn around yesterday and back it up with another one, I'm like, what the heck is going on?
I think that's fantastic.
Crazy.
I love it.
So Gary,
I love it.
yes, and I have a picture of it, and I'm going to post it. His 600 is, it's battle scarred and worn. It's a little,
sure.
you can see it's not a brand new carburetor, but he drives the car all the time. He goes, the thing is bulletproof. I said, like all 600s are. It's bulletproof. I said, because you've taken care of it and you use it. I guess that's the thing.
That is the thing. Just to give you and Gary an update on my 4160, the Holley. I had a leak on the tube that attaches the front bowl to the back bowl. They put this highly engineered single straw tube that has these two little these little donuts. This pathetic engineered example of how to keep gasoline in this stinking crate.
It works phenomenally well.
Well, let me tell you how it does work phenomenally well. I figured it out because I popped that tube off, and I went, and I think I told you, I went over to the Napa store right here, and I actually bought four of those sized those donuts that I was able to get them because the guy had the box of O-rings. The magical box of O-rings.
Were they just generic O-rings, or were they like
generic O-rings?
They're gonna fail. They're gonna fail.
Why?
Because you're putting gasoline on rubber. It's gonna fail.
Here's what I did. Here's where I took it one step further.
Okay.
I put both of them on. So now I have the O-ring that belonged on there, the single O-ring. I backed it up with the generic O-ring. Okay. So now I have double the amount of O-ring pressure.
Let me ask you this. Describe to me the procedure for how you put that together. Because there is a right, I don't want to say right and a wrong way. There's a way that I found that works phenomenally well every time, as opposed to the way most people do it that usually fails.
What I did was, and whether this is good or bad, but this is what ended up working. What I did was I put a little bit of light duty oil around the ring, and I sent that tube in to the front bowl. I had the back bowl off. So I left the front bowl on.
Okay.
And I sent the tube in, and I just got it to the point where
where was the ring?
With the two O-rings on it. The O-rings were in the back
tube.
On the tube.
Okay.
It had like a little ridge on the tube, if I remember correctly.
So they won't go past,
So they won't go past it, right. So I backed it up to that, and I sent it in. And what I did was I brought it out a little bit and held it like that, and then set the back bowl on there. So I was able to press that in and then follow. Because it wasn't just, you can't just put the tube in, put the back bowl on, call it a day. No, it needed to be massaged
Yeah. Now, let
together.
me explain to you why that's the method that fails.
Okay, please tell me, because if it's going to fail, we'll find out
And it's because
today.
I've done it. It's failed on me
All
years
right,
ago, and that's why I found another way. When you
tell
put
me.
the O-ring on the tube, there's a tendency as you push it for the O-ring to roll and not
Yes.
stay concentric. And when it rolls, there could be a little bit of a gap, and that's where the gas comes out. So the way to do
Right.
it is you
Tell
take
me,
the
because I,
O-ring and you push it into the hole in the bowl. And you
right.
could leave it at the edge of the bowl, or you could push it inside that cavity, and then you put the tube into it that way. The O-ring is already captured, and the outside circumference is already, captured inside the cavity of the bowl.
I think I'm aware of the twirling, like you were talking about, because it
That's
did
what
bite
failed.
me. It did bite me, but with the O-ring with oil around it, I was able to twirl it. And I think I was able to spin it to the point,
Okay.
spin the tube,
Okay.
so it wouldn't do what you're saying it was
Okay.
doing. But yes, I was aware of that. I didn't realize you could put the O-ring on like you did. And probably the next time, actually, no, there won't be a next time, and I'll tell you why.
And then you put the O-ring on in the back bowl. You put it in the bowl, and then when you insert the bowl, it goes over the tube, and you just push it in, and then you can use the screws to draw it in, and that works all the time.
I did do that. I did use the screws in part to the attachment screws, to attach the bowl on the back of the carburetor. I did use those to seal the deal. Like
Okay.
they brought it close. So yeah, we were both kind of on the same wavelength, but I didn't realize about putting the O-ring on the bowl first. But I went and found a 71 Carter AVS,
Okay.
and I have it sitting proudly on my tool bench,
For extra
awaiting for a
points,
rebuilding kit.
for extra points, do you
Yeah.
know what AVS stands for?
No, not a clue.
Do you know what AFB stands for?
Um,
Because AFB is the predecessor to the AVS.
right. I
It's
used to
really,
know it.
oh, that's a real easy one. So
Yeah,
kick yourself when I tell you.
I know. Tell me.
AFB stands for aluminum 4-barrel.
Got it.
AVS stands for air valve secondary.
That
And
I
the
didn't know.
reason is if you look on the secondaries, there's the butterflies.
Sure.
Inside, there's these two big counterweights.
Hmm.
So as the vacuum signal
I noticed that. Yes.
pulls on the secondary, against the pressure of those counterweights, the valve will open. And there is a little tiny screw that you can set and to tension a spring to make that either easier to open or harder to open. And that's what guys get in trouble. They think, my car bogs when I floor it. It's got to be, no, it's probably the secondaries are adjusted too light and you're dumping too much air in too fast. Don't touch anything until you drive it. But yeah, that's what that's. So you got an AVS kit now. That carburetor's got to be 40 years old.
That's why I figured, and it literally has been sitting on a shelf for 30 years.
Where'd you find it?
I found it in my C-Body Club classifieds.
I could have
So-
sent you one. I have some old AVSs, but I would have recommended, like I did to you already, I would have recommended you crack open the sarcophagus of a wallet that you carry with you. Let some of those bats and dust fly out.
All the dollar bills are going,
Yeah,
what light?
yeah, break out a couple of shekels and buy the newer Edelbrock, like the Thunder Series, the ones I had on my car, which they've even made them better still than like the AVSs. Very reliable, and they run leaner and but the AVS will run fine as long as the housing is okay. There's no warpage or anything.
No, it looks great. It's all
Have old
together. Everything's there.
aluminum. You got to be careful because you have old aluminum and old threads. And this week, boy, did I spend a lot of time tapping and helicoiling threads.
Oh, really? That's always a nice job to test your patience.
I had gotten an intake for the olds for the 442. I got a used one from our good friend Bob from the Olds Club.
Right.
Because the new ones are very expensive. It ends up with the amount of work I put into this one. He could have bought a new one. When you look at what he paid for the used one, plus like what
Your hourly charge.
we're going to put the bolts in for the thermostat housing. They're 5/16 18. So I put them both in. I go to run them, and I'm using just a hand ratchet, running them down, and one on the one side snugged, the other one kind of snugged. That was like the pre-snug. Then I went to give it just another like eighth of a turn. You never know you never know how tight you want to go. You don't want to go too tight. When you start the car, you'll see if there's a little bit of a weepage, then you give it another little snug.
Right. You always exactly. You want to allow for that
So I just
adjustment.
gave it that extra little eighth on the one side, fine. The extra little eighth on the other side, and I felt it was like a little, like it didn't snug. It got like
Crunchy.
back a little bit, like it was a little loose. I was like, okay, it's a bad thread.
That's a
So I
bad
pulled the
thread.
bolt out. I saw some aluminum on the thread, and I said, okay, now I have a choice. I can either drill this out and helicoil it, or I could drill it for the next size and go to 3/8 bolts.
Right.
Which is what I did. I actually posted that. That's online. And
Yeah, I saw it.
I want to kick Facebook in their face because Facebook sent me a message and said, hey, we should post more videos, get more interaction. So what I do is when I post to, to X, which is his own thing. But when I post on Instagram,
Yeah.
I'm able to click a button that says also post it to Facebook because Facebook owns Instagram.
Right.
So I made the post. I had my pictures. I had the video in there, a little 10-second video. It would not post the video to Facebook. I was like,
Why
wait,
not?
they're asking me for the video and they won't take. I don't know why not. I wish I knew. So
Really?
I tried to
had-
do it separately, but I have no luck with Facebook.
There
So
were no dirty pictures in there too, huh?
yeah. So anyway,
There was no penetration that was not to be discussed.
so
It wasn't
right,
like you need a bigger gun to get better penetration, like on Gun Talk.
right.
Nothing
So
like that.
then I went to mount the carburetor and on this intake, and those intakes have two sets of holes for.
I'm looking at them now. I'm looking at the picture on Real Motormouth Radio on Instagram. I'm
So-
looking at, and it looks like it's misery.
The problem was I put the quadrajet on
Yeah.
and I did a dry fit. And as I worked the throttle, the secondaries weren't opening. So I opened the air valve on top and I looked down and they weren't opening. I'm like, what the heck is going on? No, they were hitting the sides of the intake. The intake needed to
Oh.
be. So I put my gasket on the intake and saw what aluminum was in the way. I just traced out some half moons with my pencil, and then I had Mike come look, and I said, okay, here's the choice. I could get my die grinder and grind out those half moons to give
Right.
it clearance, or we get a carburetor adapter, which is commonly used from Edelbrock.
Right.
We chose to do that.
Carburetor adapter. So it's like a riser. It sits a little
Yeah.
higher on the manifold.
I
Okay.
probably would have been better off using the die grinder because now the carburetor adapter has to fit and screw into the outside holes that are there, and the carburetor now still uses the inner holes.
so,
Outside
you,
holes,
so you have double the amount of screws.
right, and the outside holes had. I noticed like the thread didn't go deep; it was shallow. And I got my dental pick, and I'm in there, and I'm picking out what looks like kind of like epoxy. I'm like, what is this? So I took a drill bit and I drilled in, and I'm drilling out this epoxy. So I drilled it out. I ran a 5/16 tap through it, and I wasn't happy with the way the tap felt. I wasn't.
Right.
I'm critical on that stuff because I've done a lot of tap die work.
Like crunching lettuce.
Well, I took it into the shed, hooked it up to the, took the
You
drill.
didn't take it into the shed, Ray.
I took it into the shed.
That old yeller.
I drilled. Yeah, well, I used yellow tape to mask off the intake. You can see it.
You didn't shoot it, did you?
No, I drilled its butt out. I drilled all 4 holes with
Kinky.
a 21/64 drill
I
bit,
like that. You kinky and all.
and
Ooh.
then I inserted helicoils.
Ouch.
Now the outer bolts could be. So again, yeah, it was more work to do that, but now at least it's done.
Right.
And the pictures are up there, and I'll put a couple more up today, just as.
And thank God you're not walking funny.
No, not me. I was well, like I said, the nice thing was I was able to do all that work at home. The thermostat I did at the shop because I was there, but all the other work I have a nice drill press at home, and that's what I had to use.
Yeah, because you got to be accurate. You can't send it in on an angle.
Right.
So send make the hole has to be straight. It
That'd
has
be perpendicular, right?
Right.
So the other thing that's not straight around here is the rest of this show. So I will. Let me see. I do have to read something here. Let's see.
Oh,
I need XP41. Let me find XP41.
Find it.
In this big book of cross promotions.
For all of you WHPC fans of how the show works.
Yeah. I will now tell you about a show called Sonic Cinema.
Ooh, with a lot of sibilance.
Sonic Cinema. It's at a new
That's
time.
spitting.
And you know what? I had my front teeth fixed. I had I had a gap for a couple of weeks. I had that fixed, so now I don't spit on things.
Now you just whistle.
Sonic Cinema is a show that's at a new time.
Of course.
And you can hear it now because it's Sundays at 7 p.m. That's tonight.
Sonic Cinema Sundays at 7. Got it.
Right.
Thank you, Sylvester.
Ray Schwetz takes you. I'm not making this up. It's right here. Ray Schwetz is the host who takes you inside the movie.
Schwetz on Sonic Cinema Sundays at 7. I got this.
XP4.
All over my shirt.
Just like the best films, this show is an escape for any movie and movie score fan. You know,
score.
Kind of funny. My daughter just sent me, I had given her my, I have a list on my phone of albums that I want to buy. And I had given that to her a year or two ago, and she used it. And, she just sent me, for my birthday, she sent me the Jackie Brown soundtrack on vinyl. Which again, from a great store down in North Carolina, Noble Records. So got that. So let me say that the WHPC weather forecast, it's powered by Does Bagels with locations in Garden City Park, Freeport, Levittown, and now open on 7th Street in Garden City. Today is absolutely gorgeous. So like they said earlier, we started off with the weather forecast from LA. Sunshine, clouds, mixed, high near 75. I think it's a little warmer than that. It's a beautiful, clear day. Perfect convertible day today.
Yes.
Partly to low, mostly cloudy tonight. We've been going into the 50s. It's going to be 57. Tomorrow, again, it's going to be up in the 70s. It'll be a beautiful day.
Yes. Wear something that can easily be removed.
Yes. So that leads us to the honor group of the hour. Do we have one today?
Yes, we do. And of course, when we come back from the break, I want to talk to you about a certain automotive fetish that I have.
Oh, good.
That I'd like to share. It's a personal problem. I think we can cope and get over it. But anyway, the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour this week. If you still have some car parts that were ordered in the beginning of the year or in early spring that are still in the box, is that NOS Chrome grill you scored from your favorite club member still in the box sitting on the shelf? Is that shift knob you found on eBay you ordered still in the box? Are those waxes and polish kits that your wife and kids gave you for your birthday still in the plastic wrap? Well, if you had all those parts, part installing springtime plans now have turned into part installing winter projects, then you are part of the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour this week.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Very good. Yes, many people join these groups every week. Okay, let's take a quick break. We're going to go back to we're delving into a new era of music, an old era of music. So we're going to have some fun.
Because I don't expect you delving into anything new.
No, not much. Not too. Sometimes, but not regularly as a rule.
Not a fan of Jackie Brown.
Yeah.
New is not in your lexicon.
That's a great soundtrack. It really is. Yes. Anyway, let's go back to the 60s here and get out your chinos and your Beatle boots, and you can dance along to this. And if you're a guy like Alan Blay, you'll like this song because it's about one of his cars. And we'll be back with more Motormouth Radio with Ray Guarino and Chris Switzer in just a minute on 90.3 WHPC. Hit it, boys.
Let the Motormouths help you out at 516-572-7440.
Okay, Mark Warman here from Graveyard Cars, hanging out with my buddies at, what's the name of it again?
Motormouth Radio.
Hey, Mark Warman here from Graveyard Cars, hanging out with my friends at Motormouth Radio. Sunday morning, I don't know what this fat bald guy's laughing about. You'll forget stuff soon enough too, my friend. be sure to listen. When are you guys on? 10 a.m.
Sundays at noon.
Noon on Sundays.
Excellent. This was
No, you got the promo. The best one was the first one. That's why I was. Because you said, what was the name of this again? That's the promo.
What better presentation could you do than that?
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision, with 2 locations in Limerick and Oceanside, who remind you that New York state law says you always have the right to choose which shop will fix your car. CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision offers a full range of services: 24-hour towing between Montauk and Manhattan, shuttle service, and they can help you with a rental car arrangement if needed. All repairs include the CarStar lifetime nationwide warranty, ensuring that the experts at Celebrity Chase Collision are always on your side.
Y sí, hablamos español.
More information is available at 516-593-0920 or online at celebritychasecollision.com.
Hey, you, get over here. Every Sunday, 12 to 1, you are going to tune in to hear the Motor Mouths, my friends Ray Guarino and Chris Switzer. 90.3 FM, WHPC. You might learn something.
Yeah, you learn how to ride the clutch. That's what you're going to do. Use the clutch as a traction device here. The 54 Corvettes and some really old, scratchy, mono-y kind of stuff.
Where was that recorded? In your garage?
I know. My garage would have sounded better. You kidding me? Come on, I got better audio than that going on. No, that's a... actually, it's an album that I have, and I found a copy of it on YouTube. So I did. I took the YouTube copy, downloaded it, and burned it, and that's what you get. But let's also get this. We'll go back to the phones and say, hi, caller. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hey, gentlemen. Happy end of summer.
Hey, Bob. How are you?
Robert. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. You guys okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, keeping out of trouble, you know.
So this goes to Connecticut roll bar breath.
Oh, that must be me.
What was the tip off?
And listen, respectfully, you probably need one the way the Connecticut drivers drive.
Oh, tell me about it. They're still trying to figure out how to make left-hand turns in 90-degree increments. They can't do it. Oh yeah, I get it.
You can't make that up, man.
No, they're one of a kind up here. That's for sure. They're one of a kind. If they're not geriatric, they're geriatric, or they're old.
I'm thinking that the roll bar should go in the Pontiac.
You know, my buddy Mikey Chevelle, he's got one of those. It's this, if you know, remember what they did back in the 70s, it's a single hoop roll bar that goes right behind the driver's seat. So it's got 2 feet and then a third leg that comes off it.
It's like in a Cobra. You would see one of those in like a
kind
Cobra.
of, except it is a full height because it's in a Chevelle, not in a Cobra. It doesn't go through the bodywork. And he was trying to urge me to put one of those in my car. I said, yeah, you do kind of kill the seat behind you though. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not flipping this thing. I'll be all right.
I think it would be actually pretty cool. And additionally, with the seatbelt, with 3-pointer, if you will, or 5-pointer, whatever the case is, that'll keep you behind the wheel.
Well, the roll bar will keep you, it'll keep you there in case you end up doing a Wizard of Oz thing and you're flipping all over the place.
Keep your head from turning into a cabbage.
The way those belts are in, you stay behind the wheel, you live.
Well, yeah, if you want to go for like a 3 or 5-point harness, yeah, which is kind of overkill on a street car, it really is. But yeah, your point is well taken. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I'm
hoping maybe I'm making some dried marinade for some wings, and I'm hoping maybe Tom could call.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, if he's out there, sure. Yeah. Right.
You need something to wash down those wings, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I'm gonna marinate them right now, and then later on tonight we'll grill them outside. So I just wanted to say hey.
Very good, Bob. Well, it's always good to talk to you. And like I said, you always got a spot in the studio you want to come in. I know you're kind of shy that way, but you're like Gary. You'll talk to me in the parking lot, but you won't talk to me in the studio. So that's all right. We'll still be your friend.
Lastly, your last couple of programs, gentlemen, up in Whitestone, and then Shore.
Yeah.
And
Marty.
then the motion connection.
Yeah.
Your programs, guys, tell you something. This is spot on.
Thank you, Bob. And I'll tell you
Thank
something.
you, Bob.
Years ago, we had Joel Rosen himself on the show.
Yes, we
And
did.
the guy was kind of buttoned up and not really talking until the commercial break. Then we took more breaks, and he said, "Hey, you guys are from Brooklyn, aren't you?" And Chris said, "Yeah, I am." And they started going off on the Brooklyn stuff.
Yep.
We had to stop him, Joel. We got to go back live, dude. Stop talking. And then he came back. He was a whole pizza and stickball, stoop ball, Ringolevio. The guy was like old home week. It was like it totally changed Joel Rosen's persona.
We opened him right up like Pandora's box. That's for sure.
Really, really good radio, guys, and have a lovely week.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Bob. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
You know, one other thing we did this week that was really cool that I love to do. We had a little road trip from the shop. Mike had picked up a car. I think I told you a while ago. It's a '72 Le Mans convertible.
Yeah.
And it's got a GTO nose on it, which is really hard to find.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, I went through our good friend Terry Wilson, who's the LS king, you know, and Terry had a friend who had an engine, and he says he put me together with this guy Tom, and he says, yeah, you know, I took it out of my car in 2006 for 400, and it's free. Come get it, you know.
Come and get it is always good.
We took a trip to the Mid Hudson Valley, you know, on the Taconic Parkway when you're going north, and all of a sudden you see those cross streets that cross the Taconic with no lights or anything.
Yeah, oh yeah.
My God, who the hell? Well, Tom lives across one of them.
Oh,
so, what a beautiful area! I mean, absolutely gorgeous.
What was the name of the town? Do you remember?
Mount Pleasant.
Oh, okay, okay.
Not far, you know, like Poughkeepsie area.
I know we are.
We took a run up there this week on Thursday, and you know, and Tom was totally gracious. You know, I asked him, I said, listen, you know, do you have an engine hoist or do we have to bring one? He goes, look, the motor's on a stand. He goes, I'll sell you the stand if you want it. I got a hoist. You can use it. And then we thought we were going to overlap each other and not see him. He says, I'll leave everything outside. Just use what you need. And, you know, but we did catch him for the last half hour. So here's the ironic part. And anybody who ever talked with car guys will understand this. As we're talking, I know he's a friend of Terry, as I am. But you know, he knows him through the circles, and he sees him about as much as I do. But I said to him, I know he's retired, and I'm looking around like he's got this beautiful house, nice big garage. He built this GTO, which he did fantastic work on. He's got a charger, one of those SRT chargers that he cut into a pickup truck. Yeah, he made the charger into a pickup truck. That he said,
really?
That was his COVID project. So this guy knows body work and paint, and he does mechanical and all. So I said, Tom, if you don't mind me asking, what did you retire from? What did you do? You know, what was your living?
He was an accountant.
No, he said, yeah, he worked at IBM for 35 years. He had a desk job. I was like, what?
I'm sure.
So with that, Mike hears that. Mike's across the way. He's strapping the motor down. He hears that. He says, IBM. He goes, you know, a guy named Ronnie? And he goes, you mean Ronzoni? And what? Yeah, that's the guy Mike hired to run the shop upstate for him. Like, so, and now
wow,
that's
small world.
Small world. So
wow.
I'm standing there and I said to Mike, I said, what the hell am I doing here? You're closer to this guy than I was. You're like corporation, but you're closer than me. You know, like, what the hell am I doing?
I should get in touch with him, get a job with him.
I tell you, it was that's all defunct now. It's all closed.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Done.
Timing is everything.
So yeah, so it was kind of cool. We did that, and then we went down to the Daily Planet on Route 55, and place I've been going to for since '99. I found that place, and I've been going there since then. Bring the family up there just to eat and all. Had a good lunch and drove home, and you know, and called it a day. Went home, and now we have a Pontiac engine in the shop. I said to Mike, because he dropped it off Friday, I said thank you. I said there's finally something in here now that I can bond with, that I know,
that you understand.
That I know well. I said I know the other stuff. I'm not that I don't know it. I had a job. I wanted to put the motor mounts into the olds on Friday. And I have the exhaust mount. Well, there's no exhaust on the car. I cut the headers off, so they're gone. So now you got a clear shot. Any American V8 with exhaust on it and trailing lines, it's a problem to get at those motor mounts. It's tight.
Sure.
But now with no exhaust, that cavity on both sides is open. Jacked the motor on the screw jack up a little bit, undid the tranny bolts, you know, did that. Got the mount out easy enough, put the new one in, bolted it up, lowered the motor, and the holes on the mount should line up with the clearance hole on the lower mount, and you send the bolt through. It just wouldn't line up. And I'm putting a bar in and pulling, and I finally had to loosen the mount off the engine so it could shift and wiggle. And aftermarket mounts, right? This is now the new age of aftermarket motor mounts, which I had a lot of trouble with on my car too. All day it took me all day. And then on the second mount, when I looked closer, I saw what it was. I saw what was stopping the whole. I mean, it was only just missing by like a quarter moon's worth.
You didn't have them flop, did you?
No, well, it doesn't matter. They could go either way. When I looked up, I saw the top of the mount had on the metal, it kind of came to a point, and that point was resting on one of the bolts that mounts the chassis mount onto the cross member.
And it was leaning the motor mount to like getting it off kilter.
So I walked over and I looked at the old mount, and that point wasn't there. It had been those mounts that had been a flat end. They had cut that off.
Right.
Like, oh, son of a. So jacked the motor up. I took the mount off, got the whiz wheel, cut them off, and then the mount went in. I was like, you son of a. You know, I told the story many times. When I was putting my car together, I bought engine mounts from the parts store. Put them in the car, used the factory bolts with the nice little points on the end of them, right? Sent it through the one bolt, it wouldn't tighten on the nut. I'm like, what? And the other one went in, but it was like really like the wrong thread size. On inspection, I found out that these mounts, one of them was the nut that was welded to the backside was a metric nut, not an American nut. And the other one had the wrong thread size on it, the wrong thread nut. So I took those to the parts store. I said, give me my money back. That weekend, I went with Kevin. We were out looking at parts. We went to a guy up on the North Shore, and I think Kevin was looking for stuff. So as I'm looking around the guy's garage, he had his Pontiac engine out of the car and on a stand. He was going to build it. And I said to him, hey, what are you doing with this over here? He goes, oh, the motor. I'm going to rebuild that. That's not for sale. I said, no, what are you doing with the motor mounts that are on there? I see you left the motor mounts on the. He goes, oh, I'm going to get new ones. I'm not using those. I said, you want to sell them? He goes, you want to buy the old motor mounts?
Yes.
He must have thought I didn't have like, $1 in my pocket. I was like, yes, I need to buy used parts.
I need used motor mounts. Like getting used shoes.
So he said, wow. He goes, how much are you give me for them? I said, I'll give you $20.
Right.
He sold. So that's what's in my car today. The used motor mounts with the correct thread size on the nuts, because I'm tired of new motor mounts. They suck. Oh my God. So,
you feel better?
I did once I put those in the car and they worked. Yeah.
Motor mouth therapy.
Oh, man, I tell you.
So here, just wanted to get in something real quick. I've come to realize there is I have an issue with something that bothers me more than most. I never had I don't know if I've discussed this before. I can't remember half the times what I had for breakfast, but I was using the tracker more this week because I've been taking it back and forth, running errands with it, and it's easier just to park that thing and go back and forth with it. So I've been with it a lot, and I had to use the horn. Did I talk about this?
No.
I hit the horn, and the horn, and I never even thought about it. I hit the horn because the guy is falling asleep at the green light, and the horn does this. Boop.
All right.
I'm like, that has got to be the weakest, silliest horn I've ever. It's like a clown horn.
Right.
And now I'm like, well, all right, it works. It's okay. It's a horn. What's the big deal? It has been bothering me all week.
All right.
So much so that I got into like a box of parts. I know I have horns, brand new import horns. I got them. I know they're in a box somewhere. And the funny thing was, I'm pulling parts out of the box, and I've been on this kick lately, Ray, where if I'm holding the part in my hand and I say to myself, I want to get rid of this and put it on a shelf, I'll never get rid of it. So I take it and I throw it directly on eBay, whatever it is.
Okay. All right.
Take a picture of it while it's in my hand, put it on eBay. So that's what I was doing. And I finally found the horns in a box. And now I have them. Now I have to find the location of the horn in the tracker. Now, mind you, everything is you need long tapery fingers to get cotton out of little medicine bottles. You need everything. Is long tapery fingers. There's not one spot on this car that you can work on without jamming a knuckle on something because everything is so tight in the engine bay. Well, of course, I found the horn. It's right on the top, but it's by the radiator and it's sandwiched between the grill and the radiator shroud itself. So I may have to remove the grill in order to get at that horn so I can attach a bracket to it and put these two others on there.
Right. Yeah.
So at least I have some sort of decent horn sound because it makes me crazy. And
there's another alternative.
Okay, tell me.
Find the wire going to the horns. If you could find it up on the support.
Yes.
Do something a little different. You may not be able to reach down and undo it from the horn. You may not have but cut the wire and then just extend it.
Splice it.
Put the horns where you can put them easily, and now you have your wire. Save yourself all that grief of having to go through the grill stuff.
That's a really good point. And mount it on, if I can find a spot
right
on a wheel well.
Top of the hood. Yeah.
Bolt them right under the hood.
Like me, in knowing that I was in a small car and people would be not seeing me when I put my Fiat together, I have behind my grill 2 red horns.
Yes.
Fiat air horns. Very good Italian. No, they're Buick Riviera, 1971 Buick Riviera, high and low tones. I painted them red, and I stuck them right behind the grill. And now when I blow the horn, people look for an Electra.
Exactly. I did the same thing. It's so funny you should say that. It's amazing how parallel our automotive lives have been.
Mm-hmm.
For 2 people raised in completely different worlds.
Yeah.
I had a CRX, a Honda CRX, a white one. It was an 84, and it had a little boop type of horn, and I was like, "Oh, this will not do."
Yeah.
And I mounted 2 Cadillac horns on that car, and you'd beat the horn, it would vibrate the whole car because, like you said, it was a Cadillac high and low horn. I made sure to have the same setup as well, and I loved it. Absolutely. It was one of those things, and I was thinking about that car. I was thinking about that whole experience with the horns on that car when I heard the horn. And I rarely use my horn in any of my cars. Rarely beep the horn. I mean, in the Chrysler, it's hysterical because the Chrysler actually has a horn ring on the steering wheel. So you have to find the right combination because I guess the relay is stuck because the horn hasn't been beeped on a regular basis in 30 years. So I'm sure the relay is sticky or whatever have you. You have to have a combination of how to hit the horn ring in order to get the horn to sound.
Well, while you figure that out, we're going to clear here so Kim can come in and do Thunder Road, Best of Springsteen and the Band. I know you'll stay tuned because you like her show better than ours. Next week, it's Elliot Wiener and Pat McNulty from the T-Bird Clubs. They're going to be in the studio live.
Fantastic. That's fantastic.
We'll talk about their upcoming T-Bird show. And so until then, stay tuned. Be safe. Have a good time. What do we say to people waiting for me in the parking lot, Chris?
Don't follow us home. And make sure you have a good horn.
I'll blow my horn at them when I'm leaving. All right. So for Chris Switzer, Ray Guarino, Motormouth Radio, over and out. We'll see you next week on 90.3 WHBC. See ya.
See you, bye.
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by CarStar Celebrity